Hi there, this is Matt with State of Flux, here with a review for Mothra versus Godzilla. Also known as Godzilla versus The Thing, I guess. I always saw it as Mothra versus Godzilla. This is a much-loved installment in the franchise, and acts largely as a sequel to Mothra, a direct sequel to Mothra, until Godzilla shows up. Godzilla in this film is utilized as a great menace, as he was in the first two feature films, sort of stripping away his sort of goofiness. I mean, he wasn't goofy, but the overall goofy tone of King Kong versus Godzilla is kind of pulled back, and this is a much more serious, grounded film. The plot of which has a great storm bringing in an egg onto the mainland of Japan. A giant, enormous egg, and some scientists are trying to decipher from where this egg came, and then the two young ladies from Mothra reveal that it floated off of their island, Infant Island, and the egg belongs to Mothra. Meanwhile, that's not the only thing that has floated into the mainland. Deep under the earth is Godzilla, who, when he comes lumbering out, wreaks havoc, as he really hadn't done in any like traumatic way since the first film. I know his presence was villainous in Raids Again and in King Kong versus Godzilla, but his threat level seems to be maximized here compared to those two films. And the redesign of the Godzilla suit also looks a little more ferocious and allows for more movement. I thought he looked a little too rubbery in the previous installment, and he could hardly move in that second Godzilla movie. Here he's a little more close to the Godzilla movies that we would get for pretty much the remainder of his screen time, where he has like a swell of movement, which is kind of good. Mothra's reveal in this film is quite good. The musical sting that accompanies the reveal that Mothra is present is quite like alarming and exciting, even though Mothra doesn't really do much except for flap her wings in that moment. And it's really not until about an hour into the film that Mothra actually contributes anything to the movie. But at that hour point, when Mothra goes up against Godzilla, it is a pretty strong kaiju battle. Certainly stronger than anything we got in King Kong versus Godzilla, which I felt was a little slappy for my tastes, and the fight between the two monsters in Godzilla Raids Again was a glorified fight at best. This one, it offers a little more meat to it, plus you're having a flying animal attacking a like grounded animal, so it's just visually a little more exciting and interesting. Speaking of the musical sting, the score comes back for the first time in with the original Godzilla, the theme music. That was absent entirely from Godzilla Raids Again, and I've never been able to watch the Japanese cut of King Kong vs. Godzilla, so I never heard the Godzilla themes from that film. So this is the first time hearing the Godzilla themes again in one of these features, and it's sorely missed. That music really captures the character, and Godzilla does feel like far more of a threat in this film. His introduction is epic. That was one of my complaints of the previous film. Godzilla, introduced in King Kong vs. Godzilla, has a kind of an okay introduction, but Kong just was like, oh, there's a monster, and then he just kind of walks in and knocks down a wall and kind of walks in. There's no drama to it, nothing. There's no gravitas. this has gravitas both for Mothra's entry into the film as well as Godzilla's. And then when the egg hatches and you don't get one Mothra offspring, you get twins, it is a pretty powerful moment with the excellent musical sting accompanying it. The the final battle between Godzilla and the two younglings is quite strong. And I just like Godzilla's use in this. Again, he's more menacing. I keep saying that, but like his introduction is through like all of a sudden they see movement in the distance and of the ground shaking and stuff like that, and all of a sudden the radiation like counter that they have in their hands starts going off the charts, and then he arrives and whatnot, and then he goes through, and the oppressive military might of Japan can't contain this force that is beyond them, which is the closest that any of these movies since that first one has gotten to recapturing what Godzilla was in his original incarnation, in his original essence. It's back. This film is kind of bookended with some character moments, and the character storyline, which does honestly drive much of the movie, isn't quite as strong as, it's certainly nowhere near as strong as the stuff in the first Godzilla movie, but it's on par with what you got in the previous two. Might not work quite as dramatically well, but the base premise of the film is stronger than either of those two, so it works better. And you get some actors in repeated actors from the franchise in new roles. You have the male lead that wasn't Serizawa from the first Godzilla movie as the main character of this one, and you have the main character of the second Godzilla movie repurposed into a new character in this film. So they're your leaders, and as far as I could tell, the two young women from Mothra's film were not recast. They were their same characters. I could be wrong on that, and let me know if I am in the comments down below. But in general, this film is considerably better than the two previous movies, and this is the establishment of Godzilla versus another monster that we would get for basically the rest of his theatrical run, with the exception of like one or two individual films where he really didn't have a nemesis. And it's also interesting to note that this is pretty much the last time, at least for a while, pretty much for the rest of the Showa era, where you have Godzilla as the nemesis. Mothra is the hero of this story. Godzilla is a true antagonist through and through, and somehow that switches after this, and it's kind of curious as to why. There's no setup for it. So I'm curious about that. One last note before I hop off of this, which is they gotta stop with the like, Godzilla is battling monster, Godzilla falls into the water, that's the end of the movie. That happened in King Kong vs. Godzilla, and it happened here. And it's like the suggestion is Godzilla is defeated, he falls into the water, story's over. But as established with the first movie, Godzilla's an aquatic being. He sleeps underwater. He lives underwater. He's always emerging from the water. So why is that like the conclusive like end game of these movies with this fourth installment? That is something that kind of ends with this film, because moving forward Godzilla's a hero, so you don't have a movie end with an ambiguous ending of is he dead, is he not, what's going on, but you do have him walking out into the water sunset or sunrise or whatever it happens to be quite often moving forward. But I do think it's kind of strange that both this film and the previous one has the defeat of Godzilla, like him going home and and just like, yeah, I'm gonna Netflix and chill, guys. I'm not gonna continue this fight in the end. But anyway, this film is a good movie. I give it a 3 out of 4 stars. This is the best Godzilla movie since the first one to this point. The improved special effects, the improved action choreography, the strong enough story with characters that are able to support that really help elevate beyond what we got in King Kong vs. Godzilla or Godzilla Rides Again. Similar to King Kong vs. Godzilla, the titular character, i.e. King Kong, or in this case Mothra, when it's being that film, a sequel to Mothra, this film is pretty much at its strongest, but when Godzilla comes in, unlike King Kong vs. Godzilla, it doesn't slow the pace down, it adds tension because you can tell Godzilla is going to hone in on this egg and what is going to come of it and what is going to happen with this battle. Those elements played better than the King Kong vs. Godzilla, even though that is the most popular of the bunch. Let me know what you thought of this film in the comments down below. As I say, this is one of the most beloved of the Showa era films. I think it's one of the most beloved Godzilla movies in general, and I can see why. It's not as fun as maybe the previous movie, but it is certainly a better movie. And as I say, to this point, the best sequel of the first 4. So, 1964 was a weird year and had 2 Godzilla releases in a single year. The next one will be Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster, or Ghidorah, however you choose to pronounce it. So I will come at you with a review for that, hopefully next week, and we can see Godzilla's pivot from vile menace, ensuring the destruction of mankind, to, you know, Super Godzilla, yay. That's coming at you next week. Thanks for watching. Peace.